Maza? Okay. Maza, can you hear me now? Oh, can you? Right. So we are talking about transpiration now. Transpiration in the meaning that it says that evaporation of water from the plant as water vapor. So this is evaporating from the aerial parts of the plant. What is meant by the aerial parts of the plant? That means above ground parts of the plant involved in transpiration. Alright? That means the stem and the branches and the leaves, those are involved in transpiration. Alright? So transpiration is a necessary process for plant. Why am I telling it is necessary? It's important for something that we discuss in our lesson. If you can remember, both of the needs we have discussed so far. One is in water lesson and the other is in our fourth unit. If I give you a hint, it's about xylem. If you can remember, upward movement of water, isn't it? Neither. And the other thing is, we learned in the water lesson, cooling the plant body. We learned now. So, both are the two importance of transpiration. I told you the transpiration happening in the aerial parts of the plant, and there are three structures involved in transpiration, mainly stomata. So, if the transpiration occurs through stomata, we call it as stomatal transpiration. And also through cuticle and lenticels also the transpiration occurs. Cuticular transpiration, lenticular transpiration. Right. Can you guys tell me at what time of the day that transpiration occurs? Daytime. Is it true? Day and night, both transpiration is happening, but mostly in the daytime. Night also it is happening, but rate of transpiration is very low. Understood? We can't say it's not happening, right? All right. Let's write that definition of transpiration right there. Removal of water from leaves and other aerial parts of the plant body as water vapor. By diffusion. Remember the definition now itself. We'll give you 2-3 minutes. You have to remember. If you can break this into fragments, you can. It is easy to memorize. Removal of water from the leaves and other aerial parts, 1. and as water vapor 2 by diffusion 3. Right. Then, right there, write a sentence. Transpiration mostly occurs at daytime. Transpiration mostly occurs at daytime. At the night time, transpiration rate is very low. Or 0. It can be 0 also. It depends. Right there. The water loss in plants takes place mainly through stomata. That is called stomatal transpiration. Up to some extent, through cuticle. So that is called cuticular transpiration. Through lenticels, lenticular transpiration. About 95% stomatal transpiration. Others very minute quantities. Write the next topic, how transpiration occurs. So, if this is a leaf, usually the outside the air of the leaf, that is usually drier than inside the leaf. So that water potential outside is lower than that of water potential inside the leaf, isn't it? So that according to the water potential gradient to the stomata, water vapor diffuses. There's a diffusion because there's an opening now, there's no barrier. Uh, diffuse to the external environment. This is a passive process, so that no need to have ATP energy. Hari, now come to the book and read that section. Uh, at the daytime in the intercellular space, that section. Haradeka. Alright. Write this one, and I want the what is given there in the book also to copy to the book. Right? This is a short form. You need to include these key points. Ardhavate, done? Alright. Then we are going to stomatal transpiration. The same thing is there. From stomata, how the water vapor is coming out is described there, right? Come everyone to the stomatal transpiration and read that section there. What is brought to the leaf in the xylem of vascular bundle and subsequently spread from fine branching network through the leaf. That means how the water comes to the leaf. These branches end in one or few xylem vessels or tracheids possessing little lignification. Therefore, water can release easily through their cellulose walls to the mesophyll cells. Water moves through the mesophyll cells by apoplast, symplast, and transmembrane pathways according to the water potential gradient. Then water evaporates from the wet walls of the mesophyll cells into the intercellular air spaces, particularly into substomatal spaces. From here, water vapor diffuses through the stomata to the atmosphere. Immediately next to the leaf is a thin layer of secondary air through which water vapor diffuses out and sweeps away by moving air. There is a diffusion gradient or diffusion shell around it. I'll explain about diffusion shell in a while. Up to that, tell me whether you are okay with that. All right, diffusion shell is this. Think this is a stomatal pore. Around the stomata, the water vapor is forming a diffusion shell like this. And the psi value here is higher than that of here. Alright? So that water vapor is going according to the concentration gradient until the other end. Alright? This is environment or atmosphere. This is inside the leaf. Got it? From leaf to the atmosphere according to the water potential gradient it's going. Due to diffusion shell is having some another gradient here. And in the still air, when there's no wind, they say that diffusion shells are overlapped. Likewise. Alright. So this side again inside, this side outside, so that you can understand since they are overlapped, it's difficult to diffuse water from the leaf to the atmosphere. So it's kind of reducing the rate of transpiration when the diffusion shells are overlapped. So in the still air, transpiration rate is low. Let's say if wind comes and these diffusion shells are blown away, meaning that there is a steep concentration gradient is built up between the cell and the outside because there is no diffusion shell now. So that the transpiration rate will be higher in the windy conditions. Got it? All right. Draw this, write the topic stomatal transpiration and draw this to, this is the diffusion shell. Correct? Right. Write a question there. Briefly explain the stomatal transpiration. Briefly explain the stomatal transpiration. Right. There's one little thing to explain before we go. It says that the last sentence here, it says that thickness of the diffusion shell depends on the surface features of the leaf and the wind speed. This one, if the wind speed is high, the thickness is low. And think that if the stomata is sunken like this, correct? The diffusion shell will be more thick. So having sunken stomata is an adaptation to reduce what? Transpiration. All right, draw this too before writing the answer. Yes, Pute, yes. You need to draw all three diagrams here. This one, and this one. Correct? Right. Now read the complete thingy about stomatal transpiration and write that into the book. This can come as an essay question. This is the best possible thingy, right? Write that there. Finish? All right. Masadan, finish? Tomishka, finish? Right, let's go to the next part here. The factors affecting the rate of transpiration. Write the topic there. Factors affecting the rate of transpiration. These are actually the external factors, right? The factors such as the nature of the stomata, the location of the stomata, these are internal factors. Those also affecting now. So the stomata are sunken, the rate of transpiration is low. That is an adaptation in leaves which are there in dry areas or deserts. They have sunken stomata. Aralia like plants, they have sunken stomata. Right. So we are going to make a mind map in this. Number 1, light intensity. Number 2, temperature. Number 3, humidity. Number 4, wind speed. Number 5, available water. In soil. Alright? So those are the factors affecting rate of transpiration. These all are external factors which are affecting the rate of transpiration. Alright? Let's discuss one by one how these factors are affecting for the rate of transpiration. So in general, when the light intensity, I'm writing it in short form, when the light intensity is high, what will happen to the rate of transpiration? Increases. If light intensity is low, rate of transpiration is low. If the light intensity is very high, think that you're having a plant which is there in Hambantota area or in a desert, they need to reduce the rate of transpiration in order to conserve water. What will happen if the excess transpiration would occur? Plant will wilt. At the end, it will die if the water is not there. So that if the light intensity is very high, rate of transpiration also going to get low. Let's come to the book about light intensity. Stomata usually open in the light and close in the darkness. With the increase of light intensity, the rate of transpiration increases. This is an external fact that you know already, right? So that I have added that too. So in short form, we can say that in the daytime, stomata open, or is in the light. In the darkness, stomata close. So when the light is present, stomata open and rate of transpiration increases. In the dark, the rate of transpiration decreases. No? Can you understand? Right. Let's come to the temperature. What's the relationship with the temperature and the transpiration rate? When the temperature is high, rate of transpiration is also high. When the temperature is low, rate of transpiration is low. Alright, come to that page. Temperature. In the presence of light, the external factor which has the greatest effect on transpiration is temperature. The higher the temperature, the greater the rate of evaporation of water from the mesophyll cells, which results in greater saturation of the leaf atmosphere with the water vapor. At the same time, rise in temperature lowers the relative humidity of the air outside the outside the leaf. Both events result in steeper concentration gradient of water molecules from leaf to the external environment. The steeper this gradient, faster the rate of diffusion. There are two reasons. We list the two reasons shortly here. Number one, evaporation of water. Saturates leaf atmosphere with water vapor. Are it? Number two, what is number two? When the temperature is high, water will evaporate faster. It will reduce the relative humidity outside the air. So I'll write it in shortest form. Reduce relative humidity in outside air. Anil. Okay, because of these two reasons, what will happen? It will make a concentration gradient, no? Between what and what? Leaf and the atmosphere, no? Hi. That okay? Right. Then what do you think about relative humidity? When relative humidity is high, transpiration rate, what will happen? Rate of transpiration decreases, no? During rainy days, rate of transpiration decreases. When relative humidity is low, rate of transpiration is high. This is inversely proportional relationship. Come and read about relative humidity too. Same thing is there, no? Right. Then wind speed. If the wind speed is high, rate of transpiration is high, no? Because of blowing away the diffusion shells. And then wind speed is low, rate of transpiration is low. But in the very high wind speed, what will happen? Rate of transpiration reduces due to stomatal closure to reduce the excess water loss. Are it? Right, read about it too. Right. Then go to available water in the soil. What's the meaning of available water? Soil has many water, but Not every water is available to the plant. There are water molecules which are tightly bound to the soil particles which are not available to the plant. And there are some amount of water inside in the deep down layers where the roots cannot reach. That is also not available to the plant. So this is only the free water which is accessible to the plant. So that is important. So available water is high, rate of transpiration is high. Available water is low, rate of transpiration is low. Alright, if you didn't water a plant, the plant will wilt and dry. Hi, write down the summary and I'll be giving the exam question also next. This is 2017 question. Write down the question. Question number 6, part A. Write the answers in a paper. What is transpiration? Part A, what is transpiration? Part B, state how. Part B, state how different external factors affects the rate of transpiration. Right. Right, the next topic, significance of transpiration to plants. Significance of transpiration to plants. Samishka done? Finish with it, Samishka and Imaza, are you done? All right, send it to me. All right, there, number one, transport of water and minerals from soil to the leaf. Transport of water and minerals from soil to leaf. Number two, evaporative cooling of the plant body surface. Evaporative cooling of the plant body surface. For the next topic, root pressure and guttation. I told that guttation is another process of water loss in plants. This is not happening in every plant, but the transpiration is happening in almost all the plants, right? Guttation is happening in some herbaceous plants which are not that big. During the night time only the guttation is happening. And also the water is going as water droplet instead of going it as water vapor, right? So it is kind of, since it is going as water droplets, not only the pure water, that is along with the water, some minerals also going out of the plant cell, plant leaf, right? So if you have you seen this one on the plant leaf, some kind of a droplets like water vapor is there. This is happening through a structure called hydrothode. Right? So we'll discuss more about hydrothode. So using that structure only, the guttation is happening. This is happening due to like at the night time the transpiration rate is very low or zero. Therefore, still water is taken into the plant, but transpiration is not happening. So that due to this, the water is trying to push towards the leaf so that the water is coming out of the plant. Right? All right. So it says, come to the book. I'm going to read this. At night, when the relative humidity is high, approaching 100%, transpiration rate is very low or zero. Root cells continuously pump water and mineral ions into the xylem tissue. The endodermis prevents ions from leaking back to the cortex and soil. That means it's not allowing what is there inside the vascular cylinder to go back to the soil solution. Therefore, more mineral ions accumulate in the vascular cylinder and reduces the water potential. Therefore, water moves from the cortex. It generates a root pressure and upward push of the xylem cell. Due to root pressure, more water enters to the leaves than lost by transpiration. This results removal of water droplets, highlight that water droplets, from leaf tips or leaf margins of some herbaceous plant. Herbaceous plants, what are they? That means palatic, that small plants, right? That process is known as guttation. Guttation fluid differs from dew, which is condensed moisture of the atmosphere. Many plants do not generate any root pressure and therefore there is no guttation. Even in the plants that display guttation, root pressure cannot match the water loss by transpiration after sunrise and therefore no guttation is seen in the daytime because then xylem sap is not pushed but pulled upward by transpiration. So when the transpiration is there, guttation is not happening, right? Can you understand? Hi. Write a question. What is guttation? What is the structure involved in guttation? Number 3. What time of the day guttation would occur? Number 4. Write the differences between transpiration and guttation. හරි කලින් ඉවර කරන්න කීයට විතර 6ට සමිෂ්කා 6ට ඉවර කරන්න කියලා මේ පැත්ත රික්වෙස්ට් එකක් තියෙනවා ඔයාට ඕකේද ඉමාසා are you okay හරි ලියන්න ආන්සර්ස් ටගලියන් තුර හරි සවිනුට මොකද දන්නවද වෙලා තියෙන්නේ සවිනුට මේ දැන් ඔන්ලයින් එක මේ ඔළුවට ගිහිල්ලා දැන් කට්ටිය මාවේ නෑ එයාට එච්චර කල් ඔළුවට තිබුණේ නෑ ඔන්ලයින් ඉන්නත් පුළුවන් එහෙම කියලා මං හිතලා දැන් ඒකටම ඉන්නවලු දැන් අද එන්න වෙන්නේ නැහැලු කොහෙද ගියාලු අනිත් එන්නලු ඔන්ලයින් මං කෝ ඔෆිස් එකට එන්න කියලා Finish? Right. Okay. 1 minute. Right. First one, it is asking what is guttation. How do we write? How do we define? Hi. So the answer is, I will be reading the answer again. Hmm. Yes. Removal of water droplets from leaf tips or leaf margins of some herbaceous plants. That process is known as guttation. Then what is the structure involved in guttation? Hydatodes. What time of the day that guttation would occur? Night time. Right. Then we'll write the differences between these two. The good ones we'll write first and less important ones we'll write later. What is the first difference to write? Can we say it's only daytime? Mostly, yes. Mostly occur during daytime. Then guttation occurs at night time. Are? Ilang එක? Yes. Then next, water droplets. Yeah. What else? Hydrothords are involved. Here, stomata, cuticle, and lenticels involved. Hydrothords are involved. Correct? Here occurs in all plants, occurs only in some herbaceous plants. Correct? Then can say pure water is removed. Water plus dissolved minerals, water and dissolved minerals. Transpiration is not affected by root pressure, no? Still, you can't hear me? Now only I saw your message. Week you have to study the table and often table is completely by heart कराना तो एक इतना सच हम करेंगे कि जो है ना Thank you. Pute, can you hear me now? Imasa, can you hear me? ඉස්සල්ල එකත් මේක වැඩ කරද්දී ඇහෙන්නේ නැහැ කියලා අරන් ගියා. මේක එකපාරක් එළුවම වගේ නෙමෙයි වෙනවා. ඒකත් එළුවේ නැහැ. එළුවේවත් නැහැ. Can you hear me, Pute? Sameshka Pute, can you hear me? හරි හරි ඇහෙනවා. හරි පුතේ හරි. Did you miss anything, Sameshka, the previous answers? This is the answer for the last question, the differences between transpiration and guttation. If you finish writing, let me know so that I can erase this and go to the next one. It's having different nutritional modes of plants. Ne? So what is the main mode of nutrition in plants? Autotrophic, that means they are photosynthetic, right? That's the main mode of nutrition. Ne? Is it okay to erase? Huh. Imasa, if you can't hear me, just leave it and log again. Then I think it will be okay. Ne? I'm erasing. Right. Try the topic modes of nutrition in plants. Right. All the plants, most of the plants are autotrophic, right? Autotrophic mode of nutrition. Autotrophic mode of nutrition, we have carbon source, inorganic carbon. What is that? Carbon dioxide. Then what is the energy source? What gives energy? Sunlight. That's why no photoautotrophic. All right. That part okay? So other than that, some plants show heterotrophic mode of nutrition also. Hmm. I can't say this as a heterotrophic also. These are special modes of nutrition, no? Wait. Heterotrophic tamayo. Heterotrophic modes of nutrition. Under that, we will be learning about symbiosis. Symbiosis can be divided into three categories. Mutualism, commensalism, and parasitism. Okay? You can hear me now, right, Imasa? Right. Alright. So, symbiosis means an ecological relationship between two species of organism, right? So, we'll define first and then go to the rest of the definitions. Hmm. So, then what is mutualism? This is the ecological relationship between two species of organism. Both the parties are benefited. That means plant and let's say fungi having a mutualistic relationship. Both are having some benefit. Plant is getting nutrients through fungi, and that means it can reach to the places where it cannot reach and get the nutrients or water. And instead of that, carbon organic food is given to the fungi. That is a mutualistic relationship. And the commensalism, one party is benefited, the other party is not benefited or harmed. That means, for example, orchids are living on plants. Orchid is getting a habitat, but still plant doesn't matter if it is there or not. Then parasitism, that is also again between two species of organism. one part is benefited, that means the parasite is benefited and the host is harmed. Okay. So example, those carnivorous, sorry, those, they have given examples here. What are the examples? Nepenthes like plants, no? Yes. Uh, yeah, Cuscuta and Lorenthus is given parasitic plants. Semi-parasitic plants means they are not totally dependent on the plant. Their leaves are photosynthetic, and the Cuscuta plant is totally dependent on the host plant. Okay, right? So I want you to fill this chart with the definitions and the relevant examples. Quickly fill this one. And there's a special mode also, we'll include that also, special mode of nutrition. They are photosynthetic plants, but their nitrogen requirement, they usually live in nitrogen less plant soil, nitrogen less soil, so they need some nitrogen requirements. They will be taking that by killing certain organisms. Example, pitcher plant, this we call it as Nepenthes bandura. That plant is having some pitcher-like structure. The small insects, they will be falling into that. It's kind of a small trap, and then they will be digesting and taking the nitrogen requirement to the plant. Other than that, Drosera and Utricularia also same kind of plants which are depending on some small insects like animals. All right, fill that too, add that also, special mode of nutrition also. Right. Samishka done? Finish there. Alright, then what about Imasa? Are you done? You can hear me now, ne? Alright, now go to the next table. I want everyone to by heart that table. I'll be giving questions on next week because that table is extremely important. Every time there is an MCQ coming in the MCQ section also, you know, one MCQ is important, no? So that please by heart that one by now itself before you having more work. So we'll be asking questions and giving past paper questions on the next week from the table. The table is telling what is the source for different elements, these essential elements they are talking in the table, and then what is the form of uptake. Not every form of nitrogen can be taken to the plant. For example, ammonium and nitrate only can be taken by the plant. And what are the sources of these elements? And also their function in the plant and their deficiency symptoms are important. When these nutrients are not in the correct amounts, the plant will nicely show the deficiency features, deficiency symptoms. So by looking at the external features of the plant, you can determine which nutrient is missing. You can put fertilizers according to that. Okay. Some fertilizer packets are having only nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. Separate ones are there. There are mixtures which is having all three together. Likewise, you can determine which is necessary for the plant. Let's go to the next part. Is it having life cycles after? So we have done with the life cycle, so we don't need to worry about that part. Come to the next one. All right, let's discuss about this one. Plant responses to external and internal signals. Wait. Right. So plant responses to light, you know, like light is having greater effect on plant growth and development. So that certain wavelengths of light are very much important in certain activities in plants. So under this lesson, we are learning about two classes of photoreceptors in plants. One thing is phytochromes. The other one is cryptochromes. Phytochromes are red light receptors. Cryptochromes are blue light receptors. All right. Write the topic with it. Plant responses to internal and external signals. Under that, write subtopic two major classes of photoreceptors. Two major classes of photoreceptors. Then write a question. What is photomorphogenesis? Photo means light. Using the light, creating different structures in plants, we call it as photomorphogenesis. It says that key events in the growth and development of plants that are triggered by light, we call it as photomorphogenesis. Right. Photomorphogenesis I define. What are the two colors? Red and blue colors. That's why these receptors are also red and blue light receptors, right? So the plants are having these receptors to detect this light, and different activities in the plants are activated due to stimulation of these photoreceptors. So they say that for seed germination, red light receptors are necessary. They say that 660 nanometer wavelength is stimulating seed germination, and 730 light, it is inhibiting seed germination. So that means the red light is stimulating seed germination. Far red light, infrared, infrared light is inhibiting the seed germination. It says during the seed germination, when seedling breaks ground, light induced slowing of hypocotyle elongation. What's the meaning of that? In a plant, let's say this is the plant, these two are the cotyledons. The below part we call it as hypocotyle. Above part, this is epicotyle. Right? If you don't know, just keep it somewhere. This is hypocotyle, this is epicotyle. So before it comes out of the ground, usually the latter part is elongated more. That means the hypocotyle is elongating faster. But when it just came out of this ground, now it's usually needed to increase the epicotyle growth. So that hypocotyle growth is inhibited when they saw the light. And it says, during the seed germination, when a seedling breaks ground, light-induced slowing of hypocotyle elongation is due to responses of blue light receptors. So now blue light receptors are slowing down the hypocotyle elongation. Such seeds often remain dormant for years until light conditions change. Plowing of a field or death of a shady tree may provide or create favorable light environment for germination. Another way. So if you just open this soil and allow the light to penetrate, that means the seeds will germinate faster. When they get red light, they will germinate. When they were hidden, they will not come out faster. That can Can you understand that one? All right. Now read one more time the seed germination thingy. All right, done? Understood that part? All right, let's go to the next one. It's talking about the plant spacing. This is what it is happening basically. Child විශේෂ වැඩක් නැහැ විශේෂ වැඩක් නැහැ නේ එහෙනම් ඔන්න හින්දා අපි මේක කරමු. Right. Now this is the forest. The canopy means the same size trees making the canopy like this. So here is the canopy, right? So canopy gets sunlight. Sunlight is coming here. The canopy is absorbing red light and allowing far red light to go inside. That means there are trees under the canopy. They don't get much red light. So when they don't get much red light, they will be using all their resources to grow taller rather than branching. If you have seen these trees, they are not well branched, but in the canopy, the trees are well branched, right? And likewise. So here it says, come to this one, phytochromes provide plant with the information of the quality of light, which enables the plant to get adapted to the changes outside light conditions. Shade avoidance, response of a plant tree below the canopy that requires relatively high light intensity as the forest canopy absorbs more red light, allowing only far red light to pass through. Now below the canopy, far red light is there. The tree below the canopy will allocate more resources to grow taller. Alright? In contrast, exposure to direct sunlight increases the proportion of far red to red light. That means far red is high in this. So what happens? They will be having more branches than the others. So read it one more time and see if you can understand. So the conclusion is when far red light is more, the trees will grow taller. Then what do you think of the last statement? I'm having confusion in last sentence. Contrast exposure to direct sunlight, far red light to red light. Again, a far red light, high no. It's confusing, right? Isn't it? I have to read it about this one more time. I'll check in the Campbell also about what they say. Let me read it one more time. You also read it one more time. It says like this. In the open sunlight, red to far red ratio is high. That means more red is coming now. First part is correct then. Under the dense forest canopy, red to far red ratio drops significantly. That means under the forest canopy, you have more far red than red. No, according to this one, something is wrong. What is given here? Ne? It clearly, the explanation is clear. When you exposed to more sunlight, more red light is there, so that for the tree will well branch, and they will not grow taller. And if the far red light is more, this will use all the resources to grow taller. Neither. I'll check about this. Something maybe I think this has to all change. Far red to red or red to far red, I don't know. I'll check it. Okay. All right. I'll read about it. And then flowering, photo period is interval about interval in a 24 hours period, which plant gets exposed to light. Photoperiod controls flowering in many types of plants, controlled by phytochromes. That means also together with the far red light wavelength ratios. That means red to far red ratio is determining when to flower, when not to flower. That part okay? Then shoot elongation and phototrophism. Phototrophism means the something is growing towards the light, no? Negative phototropism is away from light. Positive phototropism is towards the light. The growth of a shoot towards the light, positive or away from it, negative, is called phototropism. Positive phototropism strengthens photosynthesis. This response results from differential growth of cells in opposite side of the shoot. The cells in darker side elongate faster than on the brighter side. Involvement of phytochromes or blue light receptors. Here it is like this. This is there's an experiment also in this. Sunlight is coming from this direction, let's say. The plant is there. So sunlight is coming. The auxine is actually moving to this side of the plant. So auxine usually elongation of important in cell elongation. No? So this side the cells are elongated, the other side cells are not elongated, so that towards the light the shoot is growing. That is called positive phototropism. They say that to that also, other than plant growth regulators, these phytochromes and cryptochromes are involved. Then about gravitropism, shoot of the plant grows upwards while the root grows downwards. That means towards the gravity means positive gravitropism, away from the gravity means negative gravitropism. Gravitropism occurs as soon as seed germinates. This ensures that root grows into the soil and shoot grows towards the light. Even if you keep the seed the other way around, always the root will find the gravity, right? It says that plants detect gravity by settling statoliths. Statoliths are kind of plastic. Statoliths of vascular plants are specialized plasticids containing dense starch grains. That means, you know, like chloroplast, plastid contains starch, right? Small membrane-bound organelles which contain starch, we call it as plastids. So, they're having starch, okay? They can settle under the gravity at the lower portions of the cell. In the roots, they are located in the certain cells of the root cap. Right, so we are going to talk about the statolith hypothesis. I didn't write anything. If you want, you can make a summary at home. Wait. Yeah, there. I'm going to show you how it happens. Write the topic with a statolith hypothesis. Let's say this is the root with the root apical meristem. I'm drawing this to this side now. So here is the root cap. Hare? Hare? Hare. Come to the description also, we'll mark according to the description here. The aggregation of statoliths. What are statoliths now? Tell me. Those are plastids, specialized plastids contain these starch grains that came in this exam also, right? The definition here. And it says at the low points of root cap cells triggers redistribution of calcium 2 plus ion. That means these places plastids are concentrated, right? Low points of the root cap. Okay. These are statoliths. Because of that, calcium 2 plus will be moving to the other side. That means redistribution, right? Because of that reason, at this place, that means low points of this area, oxine is accumulated. Let's read that too. It says that which cause lateral transport of oxine within the root. As a result, calcium 2 plus and calcium 2 plus also coming to this point also, according to that, right? Redistribution of calcium 2 plus. So it is collecting at this place, okay? So it says calcium 2 plus and oxine get accumulated at the lower side of the elongation zone. Here, if you can remember. At high concentration of oxine, cell elongation is inhibited. If you can remember in the previous case, towards the sunlight, oxine is elongating the shoot, not inhibiting. It is stimulating cell division. Sorry, cell elongation here. In this case, high concentration of oxine than this place, it is inhibiting the cell elongation, meaning that this side is not elongating, this side is elongating. So this side is gravity, so that this will go like this. Am I correct? Towards the gravity, right? All right, draw this one there. Concentration of oxine. If anything is not clear, please ask. If you want again to explain, that is also possible. അടുത്ത Hi. The question is describe the statolith hypothesis. Describe the statolith hypothesis. Write it sooner and then I'll let you go. Alright. The Samishka and Imasa answers Evana previous question here. Ivaravela. Haripute, I'm going to finish this by now. Samishka, hope you have done. And Imasa, are you done? Right, we learned a new two sections which we didn't learn it before, and please go through this well. And if you have any issues, I can explain it another time. Don't worry, and find about that one also. I'm having confusion about that one. I'll also read. You also read. All right. So everyone, good evening and have a nice day. I'll be finishing by now. So please study well, and I'll be starting to mark the papers sooner. I couldn't mark because school papers were there. So I'll give you the results soon. Okay. So see you later.